Singapore's manufacturing sector grew 8.7% in 2025 compared to the year before. All segments expanded except general manufacturing. The strongest performing sectors were transport engineering, biomedical, manufacturing and electronics. Now, transport engineering expanded 18.7%. The aerospace segment contributed with a 30.7% growth. Electronics also grew with a 12.7% increase. Now, this was on the back of AI creating strong demand for semiconductors. Meanwhile, general manufacturing dropped by 7.8%. One analyst is optimistic about the electronic segment's performance. He expects it to maintain its strong growth momentum in the first half of this year.
One has to also think about whether the AI boom is going to last into this year. And when we look at the top 6 US hyperscaler investment commitments, these are expected to go up by 36% in 2026. So this tells us that there will still be a lot of AI-related demand. In addition to that, not just data center developments, but also rising demand for AI applications. And that's going to really boost electronics orders.
For more analysis, we have Dr. KeeWee Tan, partner at Waveney Economics. Dr. Tan, welcome to the show. Now, let's remind our viewers of some of the key statistics. Electronics jumping more than 30% in December, semiconductors up 32%. I guess the question is the AI growth engine really driving all of this, or are we kind of overselling the AI story a bit?
No, we are not overselling. It has been a very significant part of the global economy, because over the past 2-3 years, there's been a lot of money thrown into the AI sector in the US. And of course, that comes down to Singapore and all the Asian countries that make us export electronics and semiconductors.
So it's warranted?
It's warranted for the time being.
Yeah.
Because you see, I think some people think, I think also, that it's probably has reached near its peak because they have put too much money into it and like building data centers and all that. There's enough energy, also power to run it. So, and the results from these companies are they are not making enough money. So all this could stop. We don't know when, but it could stop. I mean, I would say that maybe I might be optimistic for the next 2-3 months, but beyond that, it's difficult to say.
Interesting, because I want to ask also, how dependent is Singapore's manufacturing rebound on this AI-related demand right now? Because, does it translate necessarily perhaps to more jobs in the sector?
Well, if it persists, then it will, because the electronic sector is about 38% of our total manufacturing, and that's the biggest. Yeah. And if that continues, then of course you can have long careers in the electronic sector. But like I said, I don't think it'll last. I think the trigger is a great reversal in the yen carry trade. Because for the past 30 years, the whole world has been benefiting from cheap yen. And in the past week or two, the yen bond yields have gone up, and the Japanese are reversing the flow of money. And that could affect us, not immediately, but over the next few years. Okay,
we'll look out for that. I also want to ask you about the aerospace industry. It's really flying high. We saw some really strong December figures. Can you tell us a bit about what's fueling that growth?
Okay, there are a few factors. Number one, travel for holiday and business has gone back to pre-pandemic levels. And I suppose they cannot make enough planes. People want new planes, more efficient planes. And manufacturers are not making them fast enough. And if there's the other sector, the military aerospace, they are also going to very strongly into it. And that also adds to the demand for the services. So if you cannot buy new planes, then you have to service them. And that also gives extra income for those in charge of servicing the planes,
Okay, so optimistic there. But can the airlines in the budget area and these travel patterns keep up this amazing momentum all the way through 26?
26 is quite short term. I think they can because barring any unforeseen circumstances, People will want to continue to travel. So that'll be good for the next few months. Yeah.
If there were headwinds, what would they be?
Well, I think that people will stop putting money into AI stocks or AI, the hardware. Then that could reverse the whole thing. I mean, look at NVIDIA. It was $50 about 3 years ago. Now it's $187. It's a bit too high.
Yeah.
But who knows? It could be $300 next year.
Yeah, who knows?
Yeah,
well,
who knows?
Let's look at some more specifics as the results came out. Biomedical manufacturing, that was down sharply in December. Is that ringing alarm bells for you, or should we just consider it a technical blip?
Okay, biomedical is actually two parts: the pharmaceutical and the medical technology. Those are the ones that make the machines to improve our healthcare and all that. The pharmaceuticals are very volatile. Okay. Just in December, it fell 69%. But if you look back into November, October, they went up 124 and 125%. So, but they actually, on the whole, they grew about 24% last year. So I would say this is their nature to be volatile.
Okay, so not so many alarm bells for you, par for the course, so to speak. What about petrochemicals? Because I know time is running short, but it slid 23% in December. Are the headwinds there for the long term for this sector, or?
The petrochemical industry is facing some strong headwinds. Also, there's oversupply from other neighboring countries. And so for Singapore, players, they're trying to retool and maybe go into niche chemicals or petrochemicals. So this process of switching over takes some time.
Yeah.
But actually, the petrochemical isn't very big. It's only about 8%.
Okay.
I'm sorry. It's only about 3% of total manufacturing. It is. I wouldn't worry that much as well.
Okay, understand. But if we step back from these monthly numbers that we've been talking about, are we starting to see the shape of Singapore's future manufacturing economy, for example, more high-tech, more specialized, less broad-based?
Oh, definitely, because if you're going to compete with others, and others have bigger scale, bigger economies of scale, we have to do something different. So specializing is one way out. Yeah. So they have no choice. They have to specialize and hope to find their own markets.
Okay, thank you for coming in, talking to us, Dr. Tan, rather. I want to thank Dr. KeeWee Tan from Waveney Economics for sharing his insights with us.
Thank you.